let him hit it raw. You didn't have second thoughts. Now you a single mom. Now you a single mom. You said I'ma have this kid. Don't care if he's here or not. But now you a single mom. Now you a single mom.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will see how a single mother says it's difficult without a man, that society is not designed for women to be single mothers. We will also see how a father requests custody of his daughter after 6 years when the grandparents didn't want him to know about her. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask from you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experiences in the comments for any man who might need them. And without further introduction, let's get started.
I just took out a loan for basic needs and food. Like, needs/food. I have never in my life had to take out a loan for the things that my home needs. I had to make the decision of gas or food, or somehow budget it and split that and get a little bit of gas and get a little bit of food until I get paid again. I said, there's no way. I cannot do this. I need to have a little bit more for gas and I need to have enough food. So Affirm has, its thing with Sam's Club. I was like, fuck it. Let's just take out a loan for our basic needs. I feel like this is not okay. This is not okay. We're fucked.
Stop it. Get some help.
There are many women like this one. Women who have children with Chad. Women who didn't know how to make the most important choice of their lives, which is choosing the man with whom to have children. They go for fun until they realize that this man won't take responsibility, and then the problems come. In this country, billions are spent just to help women make the burden of their bad choices more bearable, because we all know that responsibility is kryptonite for women. What better way than to use all the men's taxes to support Chad's children? I'm not complaining about this, as we need children, but it would be much better if they stayed with the father. The statistics for children of single mothers are the most discouraging of all. Yet women don't consider this when having children. They only care about having the genetics of the man they like, not what it will be like after having the baby. Then they end up like the woman in the next video, crying over their own decisions.
Breaking news, the video behind me is going viral and causing controversy. Because in this clip, the woman behind me talks about the harsh reality of being a single mother. Check this out.
I'm going to be aggressive because nobody wants to hear this. Because what you want me to say today is actually being a single mother is totally possible. It actually isn't. It was never meant to happen for the human race, number one. Number two, single biggest determiner of whether a mother is a good mother, what do you think it is? This is going to blow your mind when I tell you the answer. Whether they have a supportive partner. The major argument for good dads is actually, can the dad be there for the mom? Because it's like a direct chain is what we see. What you see is that if you've got a father figure, basically, who's supportive to the mother's energy goes towards the children. But the second that she doesn't have that supportive energy, she collapses, is what happens. And then the kids get starved. And we're not actually supposed to be living in a single family household, so it's supposed to be a lot more support towards mom than just dad. But I'm going with standard societal structure. You are a victim of a society that was never meant to work this way.
Now there's pretty much two groups responding to this video. One group agreeing with her and the other group vehemently disagreeing with her. The group disagreeing with her pretty much is saying that they grew up with a single mom and their mom did just fine and they didn't need a father. And that there are plenty strong, independent women who can be single mothers and raise, decent members of society. But other people are agreeing with her because they're pretty much saying that the people that are disagreeing with her are misinterpreting what she's saying. Because if a mom has a supportive partner, she can have more time with the kids. Because the fundamental thing between a mother and her children is time spent with them. And the single mother will inevitably spend less time with her kids because she will be working more to try to provide. So which side do you agree with? Do you agree with her or do you disagree?
Guess which group disagrees? It is well known that the economy for a single person is unsustainable. Now, imagine it for a single mother. Studies show that a child raised with both parents present tends to do better in life. Women don't like to see this because they feel it's an attack, as they live the feminist narrative of, I can do it all alone. And, above all, they don't want to show the vulnerability that they might have made a mistake. But just because you do it alone doesn't mean this should be the rule. A two-parent household has a better economy. The mother spends more time with her children, and the parents can be more attentive to their health, meals, or studies. A home with two parents helps regulate the woman's energy. She can be in mother mode, not in an empowered mode, tired of carrying the burden. Also, two parents can handle the stress that comes with having a family. That's why you often see regret after leaving a marriage, because they find that doing everything the father did is almost impossible. It is true that there are single mothers who have raised their children successfully, but the exception doesn't make the rule. Most end up seeing their children in jail or addicted to vices. The presence of a father in the lives of children is necessary, especially for daughters, as it can even prevent women from being more promiscuous. A father is a father, even if she wants to deny it.
I just gave birth to our baby a week ago, and he followed me into the shower and started pointing at me while I'm standing there naked, screaming at me and telling me that I'm fat and I need to lose weight and not have my stomach poke out like that. I did the laundry today, and I folded my husband's clothes, and I hung everything that needed to be hung up on hangers, and I put it on the bed. And tonight when he got home, I asked him to please put everything away so we could go to bed. And I was gonna take a shower, so I went in the shower and got in, and I have our 1-week-old baby sitting in his bouncer. And he followed me into the shower, and pulled back the curtain and just stood there and screamed at me, pointing at me and saying that I was fat and I needed to lose weight, and if I wasn't gonna do that I should tell him what to do, and I should tell him to clean or put anything away. This is your disclaimer that this is a reenactment of something that happened to me in my previous marriage, to raise awareness about the Safe at Home program, also known as the Address Confidentiality Program, which provides a decoy address to victims of domestic abuse and sexual assault. And you do not have to go through a judge to get it. You can get one through a licensed professional, like a therapist or a caseworker. This one is very emotional for me because I remember how vulnerable I was at the time after I had my first child, and how truly horrible it was to be treated like this. And this was one of the first instances of me realizing that there was something wrong, with this relationship. There were many other red flags, but this was the first time that I just was like, there's something wrong with this person. So.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This woman is creating a sort of drama about the worst parts of being married, trying to blame it all on abuse, doing what single or divorced mothers do best, sharing their misery in the form of help in their interpretation of advice. I don't agree with a man criticizing his wife for gaining some weight after pregnancy. I think it's wrong because this woman is giving you a child, and you should be more considerate. Now, if a year has passed since this, and the woman has become heavier and does nothing to lose weight, then I believe you should empathetically say something. The problem is that no matter how this topic is approached, it always ends badly or is taken as an attack, making her react negatively toward you. Then the husband loses attraction, and when he doesn't say anything and desires her even less in bed, she makes a fuss too. So, honestly, if a woman wants to leave a comment on how to approach the subject, there's no way for it to end well.
I just gave birth to our baby a week ago, and he followed me into the shower and started pointing at me while I'm standing there naked, screaming at me and telling me that I'm fat and I need to lose weight and not have my stomach poke out like that.
And you want to know why he yelled at her and called her fat after she had just given birth to their child? Because she asked him to put his clothes away. Yes, that's the reason. Lady, you are a part of a miracle. You created life. You know, usually I don't just straight up say this, but I'm going to straight up say it this time. Find you a man who will love you for who you are. Get rid of that dude. He doesn't deserve you, nor your children. That's just my opinion. You do what you want, but you have the support of everyone. No man should ever comment on a woman's body after she's given birth.
I share your opinion, but we also have to look at the situation. In this case, she is absolutely right. However, hypothetically speaking, if the woman has been like this for more than a year, how should the man approach the topic? This is the dilemma for many men. The difficult part is that many won't ask for a divorce but stay silent, watching how the woman becomes like a cow, sitting on the couch every day. This is tough because if they say something, it's like World War III in the house. That's why some men stay quiet and just endure, but the only thing that ends up happening is the relationship deteriorates even more. In this case, I say there should be an honest conversation without attacks, done empathetically, but as I said, it's very likely to end badly.
The mother of a 7-year-old little girl was tragically killed in a car crash. Well, after her death, her parents stepped up and took custody of the little girl. The reason why they did was because the dad wasn't around. He hadn't been around in about 6 years. As a matter of fact, that little girl wouldn't know him if he walked in the room. He had paid child support throughout her life, but that's about it. Hadn't really had anything at all to do with her. The grandparents, however, had played a significant role in this child's life. So after about 2 or 3 weeks, they went to a lawyer's office and said, hey, what do we need to do to make sure that we're covering all our bases, that we can enroll her in school, take her to the doctor, that the dad won't pop up at some point and say, I want her. What do we need to do? Well, the lawyer said, let's go ahead and file a case in court, in juvenile court, and ask for custody of the child. It's called the dependent neglect case. So that's what they did. But in doing so, they had to put the father on notice of that case. He had to be given notice. In other words, he had to be told and presented with the papers that they had filed in court. And when he was, guess what? He popped up and said, hey, I want custody of my daughter, even though he hadn't seen her in 6 years. The grandparents were devastated. The lawyer told him, hey, there's not going to be much we can do. If he wants custody, he's probably going to get custody. You know, parents have a superior parental right to their children. If one parent dies, then the other parent automatically gets custody of that child unless it can be proven in court that that parent poses a substantial risk of harm to that child. In this case, they couldn't do that. And even though dad had not seen that child in 6 years, he could get custody of that child because of the doctrine of superior parental rights. What do you think about that in this case? Do you think the grandparents should have gotten custody, or do you think it's okay that the father comes up after 6 years and can get custody of the child?
If the father wasn't in the girl's life, it might seem unfair that he gets to stay with her, but here's the thing. Why did he stay away? Maybe the mother was toxic and didn't want the father around, likely making his life impossible. Or she was one of those mothers who became so unbearable that the man eventually gave up and stopped coming around the child. But look at this. If he were a father who never cared, he would have stopped paying child support, which he didn't. As soon as he was summoned, he requested custody. That tells me he wanted to be in her life, and it was the mother who didn't want him there. It's hard for it to be 6 years later, but he's the father and has a right to be with his daughter. This doesn't mean he's separating her from her grandparents. He might have a better relationship with her than he had with the mother. You can't take away a man's right to be a father. The grandparents have already had their turn. This man deserves the opportunity to be with his daughter, just as the girl deserves to be with her father. So it seems to me that the father did the right thing, as he has been doing by paying child support for 6 years. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Has your wife or girlfriend ever gained weight? How did you address the issue with her to encourage weight loss? What do you think about single mothers having such a hard time raising their children when they could be married to the father? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.